Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Season 2 finale of House of Dragon review, / boys review, / Season 2 Dragon. I don't know what I just said. I tried to say the word / and it changed every time, but I am the Clown Prince of Bastards, Tressnell, and I'm joined by...
Oh, you know how long I've been waiting for this? Kirkland Patzer.
The Rebuilder, Taylor Field.
Make sure you tell people what happened to you today. It's going to be a good time. I need that movie to... Whatever, that's another time. I can't wait for next After 9 and talk about the patrons and everything. But this is, as I said, the end of Season 2 House of Dragons. We got a lot of stuff going on. The next, you get a plethora right now because within this last 24 hours, you're going to get the gimmick, myself, David, and Espos, the Wrestling Boys return. We just reviewed SummerSlam, big event. I could say Roman Reigns come back. Half the people listening to this will probably be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But anyways, it was a big wrestling event. SummerSlam, biggest event of the second biggest event of the year. So check out that review that's going to be dropped. And then we got this one. And then myself and Batman. Oh, fuck.
You and Batman?
I got a huge guess
You're
for
reviewing
Cape
me?
Crusader. It's the Batman. Big get. I couldn't believe it. He didn't like what Dylan had to say about Dark Knight Rises on Golden Geeks. But no, me and Kirkland will be reviewing Batman Cape Crusader. Not Taylor, because I'm going to tell a very fun story on that review of Taylor's trying to
Please do.
trying to like justify.
I didn't have high hopes that I was gonna be on it. I
won't.
thinking
I'll tease it. It's worthy if you're not watching Batman to tune into the non-spoilers review just to hear the bullshit Taylor tried to shovel me today when I saw him. And I don't think he thought I was gonna catch it, but he said one thing, and right away I'm like, I
knew. I knew yesterday when we were doing the stream, like I'm not joining for this review.
Oh my goodness! But you should still watch it, Taylor. It's gonna be like Invincible. You're like, why wasn't on the same thing with the boys? Why wasn't on the review, Travis? It's like, well, I asked everyone to watch season 1 The Boys, and no one did. You know, he's done that twice to me. You've done that in Invincible and The Boys. You're like, oh, I should have watched this from day one. It's like, well,
I haven't watched Invincible, so how can I say that?
It's something else then. Kirkland, you done Invincible season 2 yet?
Well, let's make this about Taylor, not me right now.
I'll do Batman when you do Invincible season 2.
But anyway, so there's lots of other stuff. All the rest of the Alien retrospectives will be dropping this week as well. AVP 2, Prometheus, Government, and the Alien Isolation. Like a minor note, I'll announce we're not going to do the Alien Comics retro because I kind of fucked that up because all the ones, 2 out of the 3 ones we were going to review come out after the movie. So we are going to do that, but in a, did you not see didn't you see the Discord, Taylor?
I haven't been in the Discord for.
Oh yeah, so we're not going to do that because there's only one. So we're going to wait for the next Predator or Alien movie. We'll do it then. But still, 4 Alien retrospectives dropping this week. And then, if you did not think to anyone that watched, supported, joined the trivia stream, up their Patreon subscription or join Patreon for our GV Day. It was tons of fun. That stream is still on there. But if you don't want to watch the almost 9-hour video, I recommend, of course, go watch the match because that's a visual. But if you don't want to, there will be audio for the trivia, Golden Geeks 2012. And GeekVerse. It just takes a little longer for me to edit because that's a 9-hour video. I got to space apart. So in the coming weeks, there will be that. And then mostly to promote is next weekend will be D23. So we should get some more Marvel news and everything like that. So it's kind of the cast for the next little week there. So lots of stuff popping off. So Mr. Patzer, what did you think of this episode, but also just a close? We'll talk about the overall season when we get to the finale, but just this as an overall close for the second chapter of House of Dragon.
Yeah, I thought this episode delivered in many ways and under-delivered in some minor ways. So for the most part, I think this was a pretty damn good finale. I think we had some Superman Mike in the comments. Episode title, The Queen Who Ever Was. I actually didn't see that title.
Is it ever or never?
Ever.
Superbad Mike, that has to be like a typo from you, right? Because
you don't think it's never was?
The queen who ever was?
He's missing the N.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know he's
but the actual title, I'm pretty sure, doesn't have an N.
Really?
What title?
Yeah. Pull it up right now while I'm talking.
On Crave?
What the actual episode title is.
On Crave, it just said episode 8 for me, so it didn't give me a title. It didn't. Okay. Yeah, that's
I'm not crazy then.
Fucking Crave is one of the worst. No typo. The queen that ever was. That sounds like me trying to say. No, it doesn't. The queen that whoever was.
Yeah.
How does it make sense? Please tell me. Or do we got to wait till
spoilers? Ever was
title.
Because they have been. It's the queen that forever was supposed to be.
The queen who ever was.
Some
That-
ancient medieval speak.
That doesn't
Some
work.
High Valyrian language, maybe.
I don't like
It's,
it. I don't.
some parcel
not,
tongue.
not good, George R. R. Martin. Take that one back and workshop it.
You think
but,
he made the title? The
No, he
episode
didn't make
title?
He didn't make that, but I know for sure he's not working on those fucking books that he's still,
ChatGPT.
you know.
Yeah, no.
Get those books
He's watching
out, my
whatever
man.
Taylor's watching instead of doing that.
You seen this movie on Amazon, Travis? No. You seen Batman? Yeah,
what
but
was
this
I
man needs to
talking
finish
about?
his books. Anyways, yeah, you said
yeah.
you're underwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this episode had some good interactions amongst the characters that I've been looking forward to them actually having interactions. I feel like some classic big finale moments weren't really felt here, but in other ways, it definitely got me excited for more to come. Which is unfortunate because it's like, well, now I gotta wait fucking who knows how long
3
for the
years.
next season. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
It's definitely not next year, we know at least. So
I think for me, it's like the most unfortunate thing is like, oh, I gotta wait longer to get answers that I thought I was gonna get this season. So that's always kind of a bummer. But I still think it delivered in many ways. Performances, pretty much across the board, were just elevated. I think in this episode compared to some prior episodes in the past. I feel like everyone was pretty much on their A game. Yeah, I think I'll just detail more of certain things that I would have wanted. But I think this episode still had some pretty good moments to make me satisfied with it being a finale. I don't know. I'm curious how you guys feel on that sense, because it definitely didn't tie all the bows. But by the end of it, there's a lot of things that they did leave and kind of were setting up for. And I felt this episode had penultimate energy to it, especially by the end. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just save it there for now. And but yeah, overall, big thumbs up for me. I really did quite enjoy this episode.
All right, Taylor?
I did not really have a lot of hype coming from this episode. I feel
Ooh.
like there was some exciting moments, maybe 3 that I could pinpoint. But the rest of the episode, I felt like it was really lackluster. I feel like we're dealing with some stuff that is unfinished and should have been dealt with a few episodes ago. And I feel like we're just getting some new things that are opening up. And I just... when we get to that last like 10 minutes of the episode and I pull up the timestamp thinking, man, okay, this is how much is left.
I
and
did the
feel
same thing. I'm like,
not
6
satisfied.
minutes. We're
yeah,
fucked.
and I'm not satisfied.
It's over
at
for
all.
us.
So, and I didn't like the fact like, okay, like they're clearly trying to push this into a 3rd season. That's
Well,
fine, but I
4 seasons, I thought.
I
don't
thought
think
this
the-
was like
the
a 1
series
season
finale
and
of House
done,
Grey
right?
tonight.
Like initially it's supposed to be a 1. I thought it was supposed to
No,
be
it's
initially be
pitched
just
like a
1
4
season.
4
season.
seasons, I thought.
Yeah, that's
I
like
thought we were talking about it as just 1 season
No.
back in the day.
I think you might have been talking to somebody else.
Oh well, I just wish that it gave a little bit more of a conclusion. Because even in Game of Thrones, those seasons, yes, they have cliffhangers in the final episode, but you still get more of like a look at the balloons. You still get some more juice. I feel like in the last 2 episodes of a Game of Thrones season, and I feel like the big juice was the battle for whatever that fort was, like 4 episodes ago. That's the biggest juice I could really say
Rook's
that we
Rest.
got. Yeah,
I was-
Rook's Rest.
I was going to ask you, in your mind, when you thought this was 1 season, what did you think when season 1 ended on like a massive cliffhanger? Did you not clue in like, oh, they're gonna like it's not just one?
I thought that was them just trying to push for like, hey, we'll keep it open-ended in case we get that 2nd season.
Oh yeah, no. I
Agreed
think
on.
they could always get canceled at any point, but they're not because the show's doing good numbers. I think it's 4. I hope that if they feel the need to go to 5, to go to 5. Even though, so next year we get the Night of 7 Kingdoms, which is a 6-episode one, and then George R. R. Martin says there's 8 other shows in development, 4 live action, 4 animated, which doesn't mean they're gonna all happen. Because remember, there was that pilot they did a couple years ago that they just shit canned, and it was with Naomi Watts. They filmed the whole thing, and then they just went, this isn't good enough. So. But yeah, I think 4 is like the minimum of the plan for this. So you got 1 more season to maybe build up there, Taylor.
1 more season. Yeah, well, I can't say that because that's a spoiler, but yeah, like I don't have much else I can add in non-spoilers. I just feel like it was lackluster, and I'm hoping that most people really got to be satisfied and enjoyed the episode because I feel like there was a lot of stuff building up to this, and I was hoping we would get our feet into the water for some of this content. But for me, it just wasn't there. We're dry. We didn't get into it yet, so I am
Taylor's
a
not
little
wet,
disappointed.
everybody.
I'm not wet.
He's not wet. Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of. I don't think I'm as negative. I don't think I'm as negative as Taylor, and I don't know if I'm as positive as Kirkland. But that's just going off his non-spoiler thoughts because maybe he's not once we talk about it. I feel like I'm a good mixture of the two. Where I think it was a good episode, but didn't feel like a finale episode. You know, and the difference is too with Game of Thrones is that was always the thing, right? Was their penultimate episode was big, and then the finale was always the cool down. So I remember like season up until season 3 and 4, it's like. Oh, not that I didn't care about the finales, it was like, okay, like, just the finale, like, we'll wait till next season. But that was always fine to me because it's like, well, you got this massive episode for episode I guess 9 in those seasons. So it's like, okay, yeah, do a cooldown one. Where with this one, we didn't get, like, to me, last week, I guess it depends. We kind of didn't with the dragons, right? Like, I wasn't on last week. I don't know where I am with the dragons, and it's not just this show. It's like, because I was thinking about this, I was like, well, in this show they talk about how you got to be trained for the dragons and raised and yet and then these guys just get on the dragon. But at the same time, like that kind of happened with Jon Snow when he met Daenerys, right? Like they fell in love, the dragon kind of liked him, then he could just ride the dragon, right? So I think in general, I just don't like the lores. What they do with the dragons. I think many times they talk them up like they're very this prestigious thing. You work your whole life towards it, and then you can just be a dumb bastard who just is like a comedic relief character who's just like, I got a dragon now. Woo! Like I think that kind of I don't think I really enjoyed last week a lot of the battle, like the War of Bastards and that element. It felt very much like it's not as bad, don't get me wrong, but it feels like a Deus Ex Machina, which I don't like the Army of the Dead and Return of the King. And all of a sudden, it's like we've not heard about this at all in the movies. And they're like, hey, Aragorn, you know that army over there? They could win you this whole war. And guess what happens? They just win them the whole war, and that's it. And that's where it's just like, we're really like
Win
I
the
just
battle, not the whole war.
They kind of win.
Just-
They don't win.
just to say
You're
that.
right, but they win a key. They win a key battle, right? A key battle.
True.
And I still don't know why he just didn't take him to Mordor either. But that's digress.
Asking
That's a
too
bad decision by Aragorn. But I just feel like this stuff has almost been like a get out of jail free card, where it felt like our heroes had the thumb on them, and then all of a sudden it's just like, well, now they're good to go, you know? So I didn't know how I felt about that last week. And so that's what I meant. For me, I guess it wasn't as big. Maybe some people thought that was like a Game of Thrones level penultimate episode, and I could see that this being the cooldown one. So I think, yeah, Mikey said that in Discord, and I agree. It's great character moments, many great things, great developments. I think in the last 5 minutes, they show us a bunch of stuff for season 3 where it's like, oh, that's juicy and that's juicy. Like, again, nowhere am I going to say this is a disappointing finale or that I thought was bad. Still good, still a pass. Like, the episode itself, I was rating be like an 8 out of 10, something like that. I think I was, because last year ended on such a big punch, right, with Luke. That was such a big, and even the whole finale had lots of punches, but that particular was like, whoa. And this was an odd season where we had that, and then the premiere was super hot and heavy, right, with that loss of the child, and then we got that middle season episodes like Taylor talked about the battle. So it felt like it was kind of all over the place when those big episodes were happening. So overall, I did like this episode. It just didn't feel like, it did feel like a bit more setup again, where we talked about many times. Where it's like, okay, I think it was like episode 5. We're like, okay, now we've concluded. There has to be a battle now. Like whatever, we're in the war. Where I felt like this was again where it's like, okay, the war is starting. And it's like, well, I just feel you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Game of Thrones when they kept saying winter is coming. Which, funny enough, someone said that in tonight's episode. But it felt like, when you start Game of Thrones and they say, hey, winter's coming, I would assume when I'm watching, it's like, okay, winter's pretty close around, right? Winter doesn't come till season 7. And that's where it's like fucking 8-9 years later where you're like, oh my goodness, like we finally got to this point. I feel like that's where this show, I feel like they're almost always going to be like, we're about to go to war. Like I feel like the first 4 episodes of season 3 is going to be, we're on the precipice of war right now and it's going to get real bad. And I feel like we've seen it get bad. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're like holding back to that final season and then everyone will die or perish. And then I'm sure it's going to be great stuff. I hope, you know, better than the final season of Game of Thrones. So, yeah, enjoyed it. Good episode. Not the most memorable episode as far as like I'm going to be walking away from it, where the finale of last season was like, man, I can't wait to see what's next. I am still in that I can't wait to see what's next, but I'm not leaving on the high I was last. I keep on saying year, but last season. So yeah. Anything else? Non-spoilers? All right, let's get into it. So if you've not seen it, check it now. Come back later. We're going to take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. if you did not want to listen to the ad break, go over to Patreon, head over there. You can get episodes ad-free, early, and exclusive. Every single episode we do for GeekVerse Podcast, they get ad-free versions. And then we got things like you could have got all the Alien retrospectives right now. Next week, we record a Bread and Butter and Originals. Those are exclusive shows. You can do like Mike and join on the producer tier and recommend a movie for us to review, in which we will do that. Lots of good stuff. So we appreciate that because we are independent content creators, and that's the best way to support us. So where do we want to start?
For me, with my name, you know how long I've been waiting for this moment. For me, that moment was Rhaenyra just fucking saying, enough of this. I'm just flying my dragon to Harrenhal and just like meeting down Daemon. That scene actually, I had chills. I could feel the mana. And play every episode, play every little video clip that we have in the file. I felt it in that moment because I mean, I guess before that moment, he gets taken to, what's the woods called? It's like the Elderwood, not the Elderwood. It's
Godswood?
The Godswood. He goes to the Godswood. We see Dany in the flash forward, I guess. Couple other sequences.
They said in the flesh. I'm like, we do see her in the flesh.
And the flesh, yeah. See,
it's a flesh forward.
See a lot of flesh forwards with with her and her 3 dragons.
Which just he thinks that's Rhaenyra, right? Probably.
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
Similar figure, look, skin color,
And she, like the dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Especially because she sees that, and then she goes to the Iron Throne room, and then actually sees like modern Rhaenyra like sitting on the throne, and then that's kind of just what wakes him up. I like the intensity of what that's, and like the tension that it had with like actually seeing all of Daemon's armies now. Like throughout this whole season, it's just been like, yeah, I'm assembling my armies, and then like you meet like a captain here and there, but like when Rhaenyra flies in and you just see like tens of thousands of tents, it's like, oh man, this guy actually is ready for battle now. And then when she goes into that I don't even know what you would call it, just like the meeting hall room, I guess, where all of his men are kind of just chilling. But I just love the intensity of whenever those 2 actors are on screen together. I think they're so fantastic, and it's just like the tension of having seen like one another for, what was it, episode 1 when he departed, or episode 2? I guess episode 2.
It was 2.
End of 1,
because
right?
1 was the botched slaying, which I feel like they kind of confirmed he did say just kill any kid. Like, if you can't find the son, kill a kid. Because I don't know why Helena else would have been in that vision. I know it was by mistake, but that felt like a direct. I'm happy with them leaving it ambiguous and not fully answering it. But to me, I took that as like, no, like you still said kill any kid, So and Daemon is still dealing with that. So
I'm not 100% sure that is the case, but I still think he feels the weight of the decision, even if he didn't say it, or if he did say it. And like you said, like the fact that they didn't answer it, it almost makes it more powerful. But yeah, no, I really love the trippy vision sequences. I was not expecting to see Helena in there. But really just like the stare down between him and Rhaenyra, and them speaking like High Valyrian, and then he just like bends the knee, and like you see the emotion in Rhaenyra's face. Like you even see it when she gets like the Raven saying that like there's signs of treachery, and she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like this is the, like everything's starting to go right for her, and it's like this is the one thing that throughout the whole season she's been like almost fearing in the back of her mind of like, is Daemon like actually just switching sides? Like, is this really happening right now? I actually have to deal with this threat. And that's when she's just like, fuck this, I'm just going to Harrenhal and getting this answer for me. Like, I can't just keep putting on with this. Like, is he gonna do it or not? Like, I need the answer directly. And I just really love how that whole thing went. I like how I don't really love the whole fast traveling moments that the show sometimes has.
That's House of Dragon, though, right? Season 1 was like that. Season 1 was
Game
like
of
that.
Thrones
Even
has that too, right? Like near the end, I feel like a lot of characters are just jumping back and forth. But here, it was fitting for me because she has a dragon, and I would imagine that's the fastest way to travel. When Allison, gets there, it's a little iffy, but like still, it's more believable than when Rhaenyra does it. I think earlier on this season, but yeah, no, long story short, long story long, I really loved that whole her just going to Harrenhal and having the interaction. I felt like it was what I was hoping, right? Like I wanted him to actually see the light and choose Rhaenyra's side in the end. And I'm glad that it went that way, and I'm glad that
I
it was
hope
also.
it's staying that way.
You don't think it will?
I hope, but you always got Lady M in there, and I just wonder if they start to get it on, if Damon feels betrayed.
Who's that? Sorry, Lady. Who?
Lady Massaro, or whatever you say, however you say her name, right?
Oh, the White Worm, or whatever the hell her name is.
Yeah, the brothel lady, like
Yeah,
how they
okay.
almost kissed a couple episodes ago. It almost felt like Damon went in for a kiss, and she kind of pulled away a little bit. Not a direct kiss, but he got really close to her face, and she dodged it a bit. So I was like, oh no. And I always, at first, he still did bow and he did the cheer, and that's my queen for everybody. But when he was talking to her alone, he did say like, oh well, my brother chose, my brother chose you. Like, I'm paraphrasing, and thought you were the best one. So that's why we're gonna, that's why you're here. But I still worry, like, is he like, he's still just saying again, like, oh, my brother thought this was best, so my brother's smarter than me, so I should probably go with it. But it still is like, that was their whole thing in episode 2, where she's like, you gotta say, I deserve this. Where this almost felt like, well, my brother thought you deserved it, so he was probably right. Like, Viserys was a smart guy, and then he did the cheer, and that's why for me it's tough, because that cheer stuff could be genuine, or it could just be, hey, in the moment, I gotta sell this to the people here, right? So I think he's turned, but at the same time, with Damon, you never know. But I would prefer, because there's much more stuff. Like I said, we want that Damon Aemon fight. There's other things. I still think he could be a sacrifice guy. So I'm hoping, but like I said, her potentially having an affair with somebody, that could also make him go, I'm gonna get us to win this, but after we're winning this, and you already have, what was it, Lord Alfred? Is his name Alfred or something else?
Alfred.
The guy who
Talking
Rhaenyra sent to Aaron
Oh,
Hall.
that fucking guy.
Yeah.
And he slinked out of that fucking
That was a
room.
great scene when they're all cheering. They made sure to show him. He was like, getting away, and he like. But the thing is, he put that. I could just see him. What's going to be interesting is when we pick up in season 3, if Daemon does not tell Rhaenyra about that conversation he had with him.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to go, Damon's still sus, because then he's going to keep putting that idea in his head that, yeah, listen, I get, you love your wife, we support her claim, but right now the realm needs a king. It needs something stable, and you got to be that. And the fact in this episode he didn't say anything, because I thought, oh, this guy's dead to rights. He's going to tell Rhaenyra, and they're going to kill this guy, or some sort of punishment. So I'm waiting till next season to see what he does with that information, because that guy could still talk him up and be like, hey, and then Damon goes to talk to Rhaenyra. She's getting it on with, the lady, and that's, I just feel like, could a few bad things happen? Then he gets back in the headspace of, well, she's lying to me about this, but then he did see the Dany vision, right?
And
so I hope it stays true.
That vision is what convinces me that, like, he is really changed. Like, I
Yes,
feel
I
like
hope.
that was like, you actually meet God, and it's like, this is real, and it's like, oh my God, okay, like I actually saw it for myself. Like, it's no longer of like, is this real? It's like, I actually saw it there, and like,
You saw the story of what is it, Fire and Ice, and
yeah,
I fucking hate that's where
the
we're
Song of
leading
Fire
all the
and Ice.
time, because season 7 sucks ass, but whatever.
I think just like his body language too, like when he approaches Rhaenyra, like he just seems so different, I think, than the Daemon in the past. And I think also, like, in the back of my mind is like, if we get next season and he's just like the exact same at the start of this season, like, that's gonna be a major con for me of like, oh yeah, like you take a whole season of Daemon being upset that he doesn't have the throne, and then by the end it's like, I'm with you, and then the start of next season it's like, I don't know if I'm with you, actually. I think I could do this alone. Like, that's just getting really cyclical at that point, and not really a fan of that. So I think it's like a lot of like, the vision is the main thing, and then also it's just like what I'm hoping is reality. I think that's why I liked it the way it is. But what about you, Taylor?
I mean, the vision was definitely one of my hype moments for the episode. I really liked it, and I thought that this is cool just to see the White Walkers in there and see Daenerys, and even I'm pretty sure it was the battle scene of Jon Snow walking at the Battle of Winterfell, and like the Night King walking in there too. It was
And
just
is
Like
it
with the
right.
water, like that moment.
Before that, when you see all the dead bodies on the ground and the fire, it looked like it was like the battle outside of Winterfell when Jon Snow was walking, and like the Night King was walking there too. At least that's how I took it. But
And isn't it funny that like none of these people in these vision is like the reason like they don't kill
They didn't
the
show.
Night
They didn't
King.
show Bran as.
They don't show
the king.
Arya, who Arya is like the one that actually like
shot.
ends it all. Like, yeah, it's just that's why I agree with people that I hope next season the prophecy stuff's gone. It's just about this war because I don't care about the prophecy knowing what it leads to. Right?
maybe
So,
they're retconning it. Maybe this vision
Oh,
was setting
fuck.
up like the real ending. They're gonna redo
the Last Jedi remake. You know, it's that they're gonna remake Game of Thrones after this. Yeah.
But I think it's neat that you have this family that it sucks that they are split apart because they're all it's just super chaotic. But I think it's neat that this family has this secret and this lineage to protect the realm and just this foreshadowed doom of the White Walkers that are coming. And it just when he experienced that vision, I loved it. I thought it was great. And then it just concludes where Rhaenyra shows up. I love that, man. Rhaenyra's score and her like official theme is so good. It's like like that.
Plus that
Much
fucking
better
jacket, you know.
Much better.
At the dinner table, she had the
Oh,
dragons on
yeah.
her shoulder pads.
That was
Hell
pretty
yeah!
sick.
Give
Her
me one of
crown and
those.
everything. Her
Style.
whole outfit is just it's.
Oh, yeah.
Say what you
fly.
want about Rhaenyra, but he's got style.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
If
So-
Emily showed me that jacket,
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Major
it.
Deadpool spoilers.
I
Sorry.
got it.
Yeah, no kidding. Jesus.
No, it's all audio. It's all audio. No one knows. Yeah.
So I think the whole scene of him was completely genuine when he's pledging allegiance to her. I love that. That was great. It gave me a King of the North moment, so I was super hype on that. That was awesome. And yeah, just when she arrives there too, it was great. And she just lands with her dragon, and everyone's just freaking out. They don't know if this dragon's on their side or the enemy's side, and so she's flying over, and you already see like the soldiers, fuck dragon.
Can
like,
you imagine
freaking
just
out.
being like a fucking soldier or a guard living in this time? Like, especially King's
Yeah.
Landing is like always under threat. They have those big ballistas like shooting at the sky, but like you have anyone that's not Vagar, even Vagar I feel like is a wild card, but like any type of dragon you're like, is that ours? You just have the fucking Willem Dafoe look up to the
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
sky
you
every
have
time
no
you see a
idea.
dragon.
It's fucking terrifying. So I'm excited to see where this is going to lead with her and him just being allies. That's kind of where I liked how things kind of progressed to the ending, because you see him walk out in his armor. His armor is very, very badass. It reminds me of like Daedric armor from Skyrim. It's just super cool. The black
We've
with
been
like, the
harvesting
curves,
those dragon
red trim.
hearts. to
Yeah,
make
yeah. The Daedrics. So when you get that scene of him looking at his army, then you got the two. I guess not really two. You get the one Lannister army, but then the twin brother. He's got his pirate army, and then just all the high towers. And then a dragon flew over the high tower army, but it wasn't Vagar. Was
No,
that
that's the
Helena?
brother. No, that's the brother.
Oh,
That
the
they
high
keep-
tower. Right.
Yeah,
right. The
he's-
nice
I'm-
one who's
I'm-
kind.
Yeah, but he's going to war, which I like. It's so like all we've heard, like, oh, he doesn't want to fight, and but it's just like he's leading the fucking army. He's going there. I get it, you're in war, but yeah, I imagine he must get cast next whatever season because he's coming to town. So yeah, that's not Helena. Helena's on her way fucking out of there. You know, like
She's
right,
so
she's on
fucking
her
done. She's sold her dragon at this point. She is so not wanting part of it.
gonna help me? You're gonna die. Oh, okay, thanks, sister. Whatever.
Which I will
Fuck
say,
you.
I feel like this is my favorite performance by Helena, in this entire show. She's just kind of been, I don't want to say airheaded, but like she's just.
She was in season one. She was an Eric. She's Bug Girl. In season one,
Yeah,
she's Bug Girl.
She is Bug
Yeah.
Girl in season
She's
one,
Bug
right.
Girl who fucked her brother. Like that was,
Yeah.
and then she got to be a little depressed. Like she lost her daughter, and then she was gone this season. So,
Yeah.
and I don't think she's gonna be in much next year either. Because I feel like either way, you got to get her out of there, right? Like I,
feel
know.
she's- Sorry, what were you saying? Either way, you
Well,
got to get out of there.
Well, I just feel like I know that Allison's plan's not gonna work now, but it's
Yeah.
like, well, still just get you two out of there. You know, it's like whatever. Go do what the guy like Rhaenyra's former husband did in
Yeah.
season one. Just get a boat and fucking run. Like it does. Like I know. At the same time, I'm wondering though. Well, no, I scratched that because I was like, they probably can't get out of there because Aemon did this again. Now, not only with the people, he was not letting like boats go in and out without being checked. But it's like, well, Allison's still got to fucking Dragonstone, right? So it's like they can't be checking that well. So it's like if she can get to Dragonstone, get fucking your your daughter, your granddaughter, just go, just leave and stuff like that. Obviously, they can't go to her dad because we finally got that fucking answer to this episode.
Yeah,
so.
but what's going on with him? Because he just left, but we don't know who's got him captive. We don't know who's
made
holding
some-
like the light. Like he was in
Some
a dark
gambling
room.
debts. Some gambling
Golly.
debts.
Yeah,
I
Look
did
at
say we talked. I think it was me and Kurt. We talked about that was the episode. It was episode 4. Whenever the big battle was, because there was 2 mentions of letters had been sent to him and he didn't respond. And they're like, "Oh, he must be busy. He's doing stuff." But I was like, that doesn't seem like an Otto thing. Otto's not leaving people on red. He'll be right. Yes, Josiah, I'll be right there. Like he would have been back in King's Landing in a second to get in the shit of it. So I really don't know who. My money's always gonna be on. The Master of
Laris?
Whispers. Yeah, they didn't show him, but he's always got people around. So that's who my
Yeah.
money's still on because I don't see Rhaenyra. Like, what's Rhaenyra going to do with fucking Otto Hightower? Like, I got your father. Like, I think it's the Master Whispers, and he's going to have something up his sleeve.
took
and that
his shoes off. His feet are exposed.
Oh
in a little
fuck
jail
yeah!
cell.
I loved your daughter's feet. What do your feet look like? But like, just because he with that and the combo of he convinced Viserys to get out of town, it's like he's doing the long con with the green team. So I'm saying it's the Master Whispers that has.
You mean he
Otto.
convinced Aegon?
Oh, sorry, Aegon. Yes, thank you.
Viserys. He convinced
His
Viserys too, to
crypt.
get out.
I brought your father. He's just like a skeleton.
He's starting to look like Viserys, though. I must
He
say,
is,
he's
yeah.
he's slowly morphing into his dad.
Even though I think his dad probably had a better cock, because like even when his dad was getting sick, he was still having sex with Allison.
Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
Apparently-
sausage that burst or whatever he says. Oof.
Oh man.
Who says
When
that?
Aegon is
Aegon,
like,
he
when I
said that.
piss, it comes down my leg.
Oh
And I-
yeah. I thought you meant Viserys. Said that. He's like
cock
talking about his own
my
cock.
cock.
Right,
He's gone.
right before he
My
lays with
sausage that
Allison.
burst,
You
yeah.
want to see my sausage that burns? Not really, Viserys. You can put that away now. But, yeah, Otto not looking good.
Yeah, I agree with you on the prediction. I don't really know who else it would be other than maybe Lady Massario, but like
Possible.
maybe she would have some like if it is her, it would be pretty interesting because I feel like she would clearly not be fully like on Team Rhaenyra because she's doing like her own plans. I'm not saying that she would be against Rhaenyra, but just like another third party. So I am curious as to kind of who that answer would be, but I feel like it's kind of leaning Mr. Clubfoot, whatever the hell his name is.
Laris,
Laris.
right? That's the name.
Yeah,
And now,
Whispers.
now I just really don't know what his end game is now, Laris. You know, because like obviously not even Otto, because we don't know that. Just getting Viserys out of town.
Aegon.
Fuck, thank you, Aegon. I don't know why I'm doing that this episode. I guess his hope is somehow like, is it like a genuine thing, or is his hope like Aemon dies and he can just bring him back to be the king? But at the same time, it's like Rhaenyra's gonna win this.
Well,
I
he-
imagine.
That's what he said.
right?
He knows Rhaenyra is going to win this, and so for whatever reason, he thinks that he can just stroll Aegon back in there. What did he say? Aegon the
Yeah.
Rebuilder is one. Aegon the Returned. This like whatever. I don't know what his plan is, but yeah, Aegon's saying like, "Oh, we'll go live with the goat fuckers," right? Like,
Yes.
in over in it was Essos or Bravos. I think it was Essos.
Essos.
Yeah.
Well, I think Bravos is in Essos, isn't it? That thing isn't Essos like the continent.
They're
And then
close. Bravos
Yeah,
is where
so-
Arya went to, and Essos, I guess, is where Daenerys is.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Essos is Daenerys.
Don't expect them next season, people. Just
No.
She's
Yeah.
shown here. What are you talking about? That was immediately
yeah,
apart.
yeah, they are redoing the season. Yeah. Allison, let's talk about Allison. We were just talking about her.
Yeah.
And
She's out of the
Aegon
woods.
had she's out of the woods. She again goes to talk to Rhaenyra, which is gonna be interesting because the book fans, I guess, didn't like that happened the first time because that doesn't happen in the books when they
Oh,
met
they're not gonna
secretly.
be happy.
Yeah, and the creators are like, well, it happened in secret, so it would never be documented. So this is again.
Oh, what a fucking cheese
Yeah.
ball move.
I love
Well,
when they
they're
try to
right.
explain it. It's like, why not just be like, oh, this is our story.
Yeah,
what
that's
we're
the
telling.
books, you know.
Yeah.
And then same thing with this, though. It's like that one I understand more, but it's like 6 dudes saw this go down, and Rhaenyra's like, you go away. But that I think this was probably my favorite scene of the finale. There's a couple other good ones. I have I've been waiting for this, except it didn't fully deliver. But I think it was really good. I think it Rhaenyra has to do what she has to do because she didn't want to, but that's a terrible thing to ask a mother to kill her own child. Like that's like at the same point, it reminds me of what we got last week, where she did just put a bunch of people locked. They still volunteered, but when they're like locking them, not letting them leave, like we're seeing Rhaenyra be like the classic Targaryen and make some decisions where it's like, like I don't love this, and I don't think you're supposed to love it, right? But it's like you're kind of far gone from what you were trying to be, right?
I mean, in her defense, I feel like especially just Emma Darcy's like performance, like she made it seem like it was really hard to like even say what she was saying.
Yes.
Like she was like in tears when she was like basically proposing what she was saying, even though she was trying to really sound intimidating. And like, you are the one that started this whole fucking thing, and my son Luke was murdered by your son. So yeah, I have no fucking remorse with the pitch of, especially what everything Aegon's done. Like, it's not like he is a Helena that is like very innocent and like really did not choose this. Like, he's made some really fucked up decisions. He's said some really fucked up things in season 1. So
They did lose the grandson though as well. Like I know she wanted a son for a son, but it's like the Green Tower.
Allison gets Rhaenyra's first grandson. That's
The son for a son analogy's out of the window. At this point, it's just she's right. She needs to have his head, and just that's that.
I think it's also like they pushed, so then she has to push 10 times harder to like really just put an end to this. So I feel like just because also the conniving way that the Greens just kind of like stole the throne from Rhaenyra, like all of the bloodshed, all the wars could have just been avoided if they just stuck to Viserys' initial wish to make Rhaenyra queen. But here we are. And
maybe that's sorry. I was just gonna say maybe that's why people don't necessarily also like that first meeting that took place when Rhaenyra went to go visit her, because you have her in that moment realizing the truth about A Song of Ice and Fire and just the actual misconception of Viserys in his last minutes, and she reaffirmed and doubled down on what she felt. And now you have her here in another unsanctioned meeting begging for forgiveness, yada yada yada. But in that meeting initially, she didn't have to double down. She could have acknowledged, she could have confessed to Rhaenyra, like, okay, yeah, I fucked up, but she didn't. And now here she is, after all that has happened, all the brutality of it, and Rook's Rest, now here we are, and she's begging for it now. And it's just, I don't blame Rhaenyra for being not unmerciful towards her, because Rhaenyra granted her that opportunity already, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah, but Allison was also right back then too, right? When she says it was too late. It's like it was too late. Aemon was already scheming, and Aemon, as we've seen, anytime he loses, he's like, I'm just gonna go.
But how is it too late though? Because I mean, right now you have her coming forward implying it's not too late. I'll open the gates. I'll have Aegon bend the knee for you while Aemon's away.
Well, things have changed. Aegon's burnt to a fucking crisp now. Like, I don't know.
And whose fault is that? That's hers, because she could have pitched this before. Because at the time, she didn't have to double.
On a dragon,
she didn't have to double down. She could have been like, you know what? I'll open the gates and let you stroll, and I'll make Aegon bend the knee. When she realized that she was wrong, but she didn't. She doubled down, and now it's bit her in the butt again.
Because I think what's changed is I do think, obviously, we don't know what's going to happen, because Aegon is now just riding with Larys to God knows where. I think before he got drunk and got on the dragon, Aegon would not have bent the knee and relinquished the crown, because he was still, because that's why I think she said it. That's why I still by her saying it's too late, because they killed a child in their bed. So from their point of view, it's like, no, I don't care what and at that point they got Vhagar. This is before everything. So it's like, at that point, it's like, there's no pitch where now Alicent could have a pitch of, hey, look what happened to you. They got 7 dragons. There's a window now for her to go in and say, it is like, we can take a step back, relinquish this, and give it to Rhaenyra. Where before, with Aegon and Aemon having the upper hand, there's no pitch Alicent could have made, because they would have just said, well, we'll just kill them all, especially with Vhagar, right? So I feel like that's what things have changed. It is a power dynamic. Yeah, you can argue that because they're on the losing side, but that's why you get the pitch now, right? As well, instead of us losing our lives, we could just lose our pride, and I guess Aegon's head, he has to die, but like we can make it. I guess no, Alicent wasn't pitching the head. She was just pitching the bent knee and stuff. But I think that's why, because they've had so many losses, maybe other than Aemon, because Aemon's just, because even look at fucking Kirsten Cole. He's like, death would be pretty good right now. He's like,
he's out to lunch. He's checked out.
Yeah, he's given up, and like he's not wrong. Like, this is why I actually like the characters. Like, the second the dragons started fighting, it's like, we don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, right? We can make little moves and do things, but at the end of the day, if it goes down to Dragon War, what can they do? Nothing. So even Cole has been like, we're probably just gonna lose this. So I think that's why. Other than Eamon will go down with the fucking ship. He ain't bending the knee to nobody.
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel like you highlighting. My gosh, who were you, before Eamon's Kristen Cole. I like highlighting those, like that moment. I feel like that's why I love this episode so much. We really had moments of, I think, maturity and like goes so far as to say wisdom from like pretty much all of our main characters here. Like I already shouted out like the Helena moment. I felt like that was just like a really interesting perspective that she had of like even just standing up to Eamon. Like Eamon is a terrifying individual. I love that sequence when he's like in tears, the way that he's like pitching this thing to Helena, and she just like pushes back, like, what if I don't do it? Because I'm not gonna do it, and then just like leans into him. Sir Kristen Cole like admitting that like, you know, his chasing of the women has really like been a curse for him. Like he basically just admitting that like he's a weak man for those reasons, and then
he also dropped a so what though, but he's like, yeah, they're probably all doing that. You know, he's
but
like all men are corrupted, and like he's just such like an emo right now. Like we're all terrible people, and he kind of convinced Allison's brother. He just gave.
It's a
up
similar
to.
conversation that Jacaerys has with his wife, right? Like, and I love that sequence too when she's just like, why are you pouting? Like, fucking man up. Like, everybody, like,
you know how many bastards there are?
Yeah, exactly. Like, most of the loyal lines are whatever the hell they said. The Lord Sire is not your real father. Like, that's probably majority of the case across the realms. Like, stop feeling bad for yourself and just fucking go stand by your mother. Like, I loved all of those little moments that we had with those characters.
You're still half Targaryen, dude. You can ride a dragon. Like, just suck it up now, you know?
The conversation between Alicent and Rhaenyra as well. Like, I thought both of them were making really compelling arguments. And, like, Alicent being at this point, Rhaenyra's perspective of being like, why are you doing this now? Why would you think that I would forgive you? And Alicent's just like, well, I didn't know any better at the time. Like I'm telling you that I've gone through all these moments and have been like thinking about this stuff pretty much this whole season, like when she's going off to the woods and just thinking about all these terrible decisions that could have been avoided. And she's at this point, she's just tired, and she's like, I don't even give a shit if history paints me a villain. Like, I just want to go and be free. And I it just felt very human and real. And I think this episode was just littered with those moments, and that's why I think of it so highly. However, there like some of my cons, I think would have just been like, we're getting to the battle, we're going to Harrenhal, and we're not at Harrenhal. Like Superbad Mike had in the comments earlier, it's like, well, at least season premiere next season's gonna have a lot of hype building up to it. I'm sure that teaser trailer is gonna be crazy. They gotta have Like a Prayer Madonna epic Deadpool version on that teaser trailer.
The other thing I thought was a super bold move was Alicent pitching Rhaenyra to just also run away with her and her daughter. I was like, man, that's
very similar to Sir Kristen A in the first season when he's pitching little Rhaenyra, like, let's just go be fishermen. And she's like, what the fuck's the matter with this
I'm
guy?
gonna be queen, you idiot. And you could have just done, like, again, another character who could just avoid everything. He could have just stuck with Rhaenyra because he just ended up doing the same thing with Alicent. So, which was kind of funny when Rhaenyra like threw that shit at Alicent of like, oh, and you've made some transgressions, and she's like, yeah, and so have you. Like, don't even try to like get the high ground on me and like they literally did the same transgression of like Sir Cole. Like Rhaenyra's done other ones too, but it's like literally they've been with the same man. So it's like I did like Alicent just cut the bullshit. Like we're both fucking around. Like no one's almost like Cole too, right? Like no one's really who they say they are. No one's being loyal. Like they're doing what they are supposed to do, and then what they want to. Supposed to as far as their leading or their title, and then the want to do as far as their stuff on the side with random people and everything. But I guess it also shows how much of a like obviously they're not friends now, but they're still yearning for a friendship they wish that was, at least Alicent, like pitching Rhaenyra, like you can just come with us. And would have been wild. Looked like because Rhaenyra paused for a second, then said, "Oh no, I can't do that." But would have been wild if Daemon just comes back and Rhaenyra's gone, and it's just like Rhaenyra and Alicent are just somewhere off in the woods, just floating in a lake, you know.
All these bastards on dragons. He's like, what the fuck's been going on?
And it's a complete role reversal too, because Allison, and that's what I like too, where she's like, "Oh, I studied all these books and everything that you didn't care for." She was the person that wanted to be more included in this type of stuff. I don't know if she wanted to be with Viserys per se, which I did like that admission too, where she said like, "Yeah, we loved each other, but your mother was the love of his life still, right? Like it didn't matter how much I was around, that was the case." But what I liked is the swap of Rhaenyra, young Rhaenyra was like, "I don't want anything to do with the crown. Like I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm just waiting until my dad has a boy and then I can fuck off." And now look at her older, she's like, "I have to do right by the crown, my father, I have to do this." Where Alicent's the reverse too. Now she's the one that like, let's just get out of here and just go live. Yeah, let's go make some pies, let's catch some fish, let's just, no one's gonna know our name, let's run. Where before she was very, had to uphold what Otto was saying or Viserys was saying or whoever was telling her what to do, right? So they've completely done a 180 both characters. They pretty much swapped places, which I think was kind of the point of the last shot of the show, was showing them both standing somewhere like on a mountain looking out. I feel like it's to show, well, also show that Alicent's just kind of fucked because, again, I hope she should just run away, but I feel like Aemon's going to be like, "No, no, mother," which that's where, for me, we finally got that scene of them yelling at each other. I wish it was like, still 5 minutes longer. They almost got to the point, so I was glad they got to that, where she just pretty much said like, whenever you lose, you get angry and take it on the little people, and you do that just because you've been embarrassed your whole life. Obviously probably referring back to the eye, right? So I feel like I wanted a little bit more, but I got what I wanted, and they saved it for finale, so I felt like that was a pro for me, even though it wasn't like a home run. It was like, okay, we won the game on this story that I wanted, but I still think there's meat on the bone that they could have really, I think that could have been like a top tier season scene, and and it just ended up being like a good, check mark. So let's take an ad break and we'll be right back. And we're back. Taylor, where want to go next? You've been quiet over there.
Oh, well, I'm honestly was hoping that we got a little bit more between Alicent and Helena, when Helena's like, "Where do we go?" And then Daemon just walks in, grabs her arm, and is like, "The crown needs you." Or not Daemon, Aemon.
Aemon.
The crown, yeah, Daemon strolls in. "The crown needs you."
Viserys.
Which I like seeing that Helena and Daemon did have like a moment together. It goes to show where it's almost like Helena is like got a three-eyed raven vibe going on, but she's just really, really psychic. And people were pointing this out too, that when Corlys's trueborn son, who was originally married to Rhaenyra.
Oh, that one, right?
Yeah. So when it was the episode where Helena's looking at her moths or crickets, sorry, and she's like, "These ones don't sing anymore," and I think it was implying the death of Sea Smoke. His rider was Corlys' son, right?
Yeah,
so
I remember we talked about that. Supposedly in lore, dragons can't bond with somebody else until their rider
That's
has
exactly
died.
it. So I think that they were just using the crickets as a way, like, okay, well, this guy died off screen.
Poor guy, still died. Faked his death and still died.
Still died. So yeah, she's definitely got the psychic abilities going on. But when she had that moment with Alicent, I was really rooting for Helena just to be able to get out of there, because I like her character. She's simple, but when she has those moments where she's talking shit, I liked it with that moment with Aemon, where he's like, that's treasonous what you're saying, but she just called out like, "No, I saw it. What are you going to do? You're going to burn me too," and yada, yada, yada. And she doesn't want to hurt anyone. She just doesn't even want to be queen. And I like that Alicent sees this younger self in her as well, in this reflection. And I just feel bad for Helena being out in the crowds and just being fucking shit thrown at her and people freaking out at her. And like, she has no real pull. Even as queen, she has no real pull. So it's unfortunate. But it makes an interesting setup for what's going to happen. And I do wonder if we will get that Daemon versus Aemon set up, because she's saying you went out and flew into the void or something, and you were never seen again. That's it. And Aegon was king again. So I don't know where she's pulling that from, because I don't believe Aegon's getting back on that throne unless we get to season 5. And
maybe she said wooden throne though, right?
Wooden throne. That's right. So maybe somewhere else in Essos, he builds a little thing out of trees and God's wood. He's a little king out there.
I feel like he's got to get back. That's got to be the reason Larys is like, has him waiting in the wings, right? Just because like, we kind of like, I don't know this for sure, but like Alicent can't win this, because in Game of Thrones they talk about it's always just men being king, or sorry, not Alicent, Rhaenyra. So it's like Rhaenyra's not gonna win this. She's not going to end up being the queen because it's always just been a line of kings. And that's why Dany, it's like, oh, are they going to accept a female as the leader, right? So, like, Rhaenyra has to lose at some point, and that's why I think Aegon will get back there one way or another. Because who else? It's not going to be her. Because Game of Thrones proves there's not been a woman king or queen other until Cersei does the hostile takeover, right? But up in that point, it's everyone's a man, right? So you have that, and what? So she gets there, dies, and maybe Jace takes it. But that to me just doesn't make sense because
I know some of the lineage, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to ruin anything for you guys.
Yeah, I just don't know how that makes sense to me because then also like the Targaryen that Ned Stark and Baratheon and Lannister kill, like whatever, I think he's another Aegon, like he has the pure Targaryen hair, so I really don't know, like
the Mad King.
Yeah, Rhaenyra can't end up on the throne is all the thing I'm saying, so that's why I just don't know who would it be.
I don't know if she would, if she does end up on the throne, because you make a good point, but I will say, like,
she might sit there, but she ain't gonna rule.
When you look at the we're at with Game of Thrones, her line is definitely looking pretty good.
Yeah, and that's why I just don't know. Like, yeah, I'm just curious. I guess Jace could die. Maybe it's one of their kids, like Daemon and Rhaenyra's kids, right?
Well, that's the thing, and
I
don't believe we know that I can't fucking talk. With Jace, they were putting it into the forefront his not his ancestry, but his inheritance, I guess is how I'll put it, like his bastard heritage. So that's coming into the forefront, and if you eliminate him, next in line is these true heirs, Daemon and Rhaenyra's sons.
Rhaenyra's sons.
So
yeah. So
when you look at things, and like I don't know how it's going to go for Rhaenyra. I have no idea with that. I have no idea how it's going to go.
No, I think she's going to die in battle, and then she almost gets there. You know,
those sons that they have, and again those 3 eggs that become Daenerys's. That is where you can kind of see it trajecting towards.
Which
Game
apparently,
of Thrones.
I think in the books, though, that's not those egg things doesn't happen. I guess because George R. R. Martin was like, he's like, well, the books are their own thing and the shows are their own thing. Because I think he was like, no, like Daenerys, those aren't Daenerys' eggs. They didn't have the records
to record this, so they didn't know.
Yeah. Oh man, you said something there I wanted to touch upon. We're talking about
the bastard heritage, Jace.
We're talking about Aemon. That's what I want to bring up. It's funny that in season 2, both Aemon and Daemon were told that they're gonna die, and like in a way of how they're gonna die, right? Again, how these characters are linked. The witch is like, "Hey, you're gonna die here in Harrenhal," and then his sister being like, "Yeah, you're gonna get killed, and Aegon's gonna be king again, and everything." So they both these characters who are similar hotheads, and Aemon hasn't had his come to Jesus moment, have been told, "Yeah, like you're not winning this. Like whatever happens in the war, you're not the main focus here," which I think Daemon wanted to be. Now he's not. Aemon for sure still wants to be the main focus here, and we'll see what happens because he has that other brother, and then I don't think he's got Helena's dragon, so they're gonna have to figure something out. But I still feel like Aemon's gonna have a couple of tricks up his sleeves because they did get Lannister got that blockade open for them, right? So I guess that is like
the blockade's not open yet, but
it's gonna open or something, right?
Yeah, that'll hopefully be a battle we get to see. He had to fuck all that woman's wives to give her sons.
Had to. I think he was happy about it. He's like, "How many women? How many wives do you have?" Yeah.
I think he looked a little scared. I don't know. I think he was intimidated by her, and then it's like any wife.
I don't know why she could have picked so many better.
He's a Lannister, though.
He's a Lannister, man.
Does that
that's
mean
a lot of money. Yeah,
Lannisters hang
they're,
low.
they're like the second
just a
most
bunch of bastard children, so it doesn't mean anything for her though to have these.
Well,
I
as
think
we've
she wants
seen,
the genes, though.
Yeah, I think it is literally just the genes. I don't think she's looking for like to rule land, but technically, we have seen that bastards can come to play when certain lines die, right?
Only if you have dragons.
Well, no, but it's just even other heritages and stuff like that, right? Like they can make a play and everything like that. So, like technically, Jace is a bastard, but like he's still gonna be king, right? If it were to go that way, right? He's Rhaenyra's son, but he's not like he shouldn't have all the Valyrian like deeds and like none of that shit should go to him, but it is, right? So it's like, and that's the other scene. I don't know where we're going in season 3 with these characters. I've been iffy about it, but really, I can't remember the Sea Snake's bastard son. Speaking of bastards,
oh man, fuck! I know where you're going.
I Yeah, I really like that scene of just telling him just like fuck off, like, and because the whole season we've got like he doesn't want anything from his dad, he doesn't want a title, he doesn't want money, he wants nothing, and it's kind of like okay, like maybe it's just that classic. It's like a Jon Snow, like I don't want, and then when he makes that pitch, but I like the scene makes his pitch is like you come to me after your 3 children and wife have died. Go fuck yourself. Like I don't want anything from you. I'll take the orders, everything, but what I don't want is your help. And just seeing like the Sea Snake doesn't really have an argument against that because he's right. Maybe it is just the timing and it's just a predicament where he would have cared for him either way. But still, that I actually end up liking that character a lot after that scene because that to me gave that character a backbone to show like you got his brother who's all about like he wants to be a part of the Queen's court. And he's got a dragon. He wants that higher tier. This guy's just happy to like live his life, and he's like, I've done this all by myself. I would still prefer to do it by myself. So just leave me the hell alone. So really liked that scene by both actors there.
It's funny. I knew where you're going, but that's definitely not where I am aligned.
Uh-oh.
I thought I'm like, why the fuck do we have this character in the season? Like it was hinted to have some tension between the 3, including Rhaenys, and then that interaction never happened because she perished in the fires. But like I don't know. I think it's mostly just. I agree. I think the scene was good amongst the 2 characters, but I'm just like really like is this it like going forward, are we gonna keep following this character and like his journey now?
I think so. He's part of the war now, right? He's with the Sea Snakes.
Yeah.
I feel like he's gonna be leading some ships. So
I think it just bummed me because it took away screen time throughout the entire season for these moments when I could have had it with other characters that I was more interested in. So that I just wasn't really satisfied with that. But you do bring up some good points, and I do agree. Superman Mike in the chat said his name is Alan. Oh yeah, and
Alan
then his
the
brother's
Poly.
Adam. There you go.
which totally off topic. I forgot to bring this up during Golden Geeks 2012, but I'm gonna forget about, so I'm gonna make it record here.
Okay.
Taylor, did you catch that one of the characters' name in American Mary was named Dr. Alan Grant? Go IMDb this, and then we'll talk about off air. But someone said Dr. Alan Grant. I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, okay, Alan Adam. Yeah, so
Same canon. It's the same guy.
Oh, I don't need to
Mary.
see this. No, he's Alan Grant.
oh, is it the bad doctor,
It's the
the assaulter?
rape, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, damn. the apple fell very far from the tree there.
Doing
but,
my boy Sam Neill dirty.
Yeah, so go check out the 2012 Golden Geeks coming out when we talk about American Mary. But yeah, I agree with you, Kirk. Where I don't know what more is left, but that's where this to me is kind of like I liked it as an end point to the story, but at the same time, I it's not like it won me over for all the rest of the show. But I do think he will be around next year or whatever next season, and because the brother is still around, right? So he has ties to multiple characters now. Of his dad, he's thinking his brother is gonna hopefully become a knight. So I feel like there's lots of things that could be done there. And also shout out, because I'll forget, shout out to like the comedic bastard who has a dragon. I think the actor's doing some great comedic timing work. Like when he sees, oh Jace, you're like he's mouthing off like, what do you think, boy? And then he's like, well, this is the prince. And he gets his feet off the table, runs over and hugs them. He's like, oh, I've heard about your hair being so black, which is like, I'm sure Jace doesn't like that as a compliment, but I think that I can't remember his name, but the bastard who's the more comedic one.
It's like Ulf, right?
Yeah.
ULF, that guy.
I'm enjoying the actor, and I think how much he was in it tonight is like the right amount. I don't think you want to overdo it with him. So
I think it was a couple tablespoons too much for me.
Yeah.
I appreciated the dynamic shift of having a character like that just has never lived a life of like luxury or like in royal presence. I think it was just 1-2 scenes too, like the dinner sequence. I was just kind of cringing when Rhaenyra's. I think I just respect Rhaenyra too much. I'm like, throw some damn respect on her name. Come on, man. She's trying to tell a toast, and he's just being obnoxious. But
Taming a dragon is
cut his
thirsty
fucking
work.
tongue out. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not I like the character back when he was in the tavern, and I like the other wiser Targaryen.
The blacksmith guy, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely super awesome. He's apologizing. Like, he does not have the manners of court and all that stuff. But I think that Ulf is his humor works just a little bit, but for the most part, I really don't like the just banging your head against it again and again and again. The same humor. ever since we got it with Jace, that was it. I could laugh at that. That's fine. But then consistently going throughout the dinner time again and again and again, the same thing. Even at the end when he's just calling him out like, "Oh, you need a little more humor in here" or whatnot. This is not the crowd to do that, and it's tense too. It makes me wonder what's going to happen because when he throws that quick line of shade towards Rhaenyra, you see the guards kind of blurred in the background where
was a
one
jo-
steps
oh.
forward and pulls his sword up a little bit, like to
Yeah.
help.
He
So
did say after it was a joke, though, right? You know, he's like, "Oh, none of you guys have humor here." So I don't think he was actually, because he was like, "Oh," she said some line like, "Oh, you'll have to do this," and he's like, "Well, I'll do it when you make me a knight." But I did think he's just like a guy that sticks his foot in his mouth. But he's not going to be long for this world, I don't think. So
no, yeah.
yeah. Anything else we haven't touched upon, character wise or scene wise?
Allison's brother.
That's
starting to
I
get
was
a
going
little
Allison's
chummy
brother.
With,
Yeah.
he's getting chummy with Sir Kristen at the end.
I didn't like how that scene played out. I like Cole's monologue, but it was just very random. Haven't checked in with him the 2 or 3 episodes, and just like, "You're fucking my sister, and you're gonna admit it, and you're gonna go to the wall and everything." He's like, "Yeah, I am," and then he gives a spiel. So I like the spiel. I just thought the setup was weird, also to do in front of all the guards, and everyone's just like, "Watch this go down. It's supposed to be okay." So I was 50-50 on that scene. So, and I'm 50-50 on Allison's brother still too. I need more from that character.
Yeah, I don't think it's been as satisfying as I thought it was going to be to have him in here. I thought he was going to be a lot more of a wild card, might be an extreme word for him, but just like someone that really shakes up the dynamic of like Kristen Cole. I guess since his inclusion into this show so far, like we had the Rook's Rest battle, and Sir Kristen just hasn't been the same since then. So I think I was needing a character to get Kristen Cole into a place like that, but because that event happened, it's like, okay, I guess we just don't really need Allison's brother here. So I don't know. I'm hesitant to say it's a waste of a new character, but hopefully some more stuff happens. But I don't know. For how they ended off here, I don't see anything really interesting or crazy happening. I guess unless Otto comes into play and see what that dynamic would be amongst those two.
Dad locked up, you know?
Because he's already got daddy issues, it seems, right? He's always been jealous of Allison kind of being Otto's favorite.
Mm-hmm. Superman Mike says about that comedic guy, they're trying to make him the Braun of the show. Well, he'll never be Braun. Braun is fucking phenomenal, so that's not gonna...
he's so good.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, but, you know, I like him enough still.
For me, like, the most comedy, I think, in this entire season was actually the Lannister guy with with that chick. I just wasn't expecting it to be so funny, and I felt like his whole moment was just like a comedic breath for especially just like thinking about like episode 1, we got like a child get decapitated to like at the end, the finale of that very same season, I'm like laughing over this guy just doing mud fights with this chick, and she just wants his genes.
Yep.
I thought she was want to get impregnated, and then she's like, "Will you sleep with my wives?"
Yeah, that was good. Rhaena looks like she's getting her dragon, right? Finally, that's something where it's like, you know what? Just give me the 2 scenes in the finale. That was way too drawn out. I just felt like that was a waste for me. It's like, I got it, get what we're doing, but I don't need to see her sleeping, and the next thing she's walking and then running, just
like inhaling water from the river, just about to die.
That acting when she sees the dragon kind of made me laugh too. She just looked like, I don't know, like she's in adrenochrome or something. Just reaction was like too much. But so that dragon, do we know that dragon? Because I was talking to someone at work about this, and I don't know if it's like a spoiler or something, but like what this dragon might be. Do you guys know anything?
No.
Okay.
This is just like a random dragon?
Well, like I was told, I don't know if this is legit, but it's like the theory that I heard was that this is actually Aegon the Conqueror's dragon, like the Aegon the Conqueror.
That'd be cool.
And then he's just been fucking off ever since Aegon died. He looked pretty charred, like that dragon. Actually, he looked like someone that had been on the barbecue a little bit too long. But I don't know. I am curious to what
like Aegon.
What do you got for me? Okay. Yeah. Very curly little fingernails he's got there.
Yeah.
Whatever you'd call that.
He does look pretty charred.
But
Looks like he's
I,
seen some battles.
I think what you said, Travis, it's like a bit of a waste of her just being like, oh, there's a dragon around these parts. So then it's like, okay, I know what's going to happen here. And then what we get wasn't super satisfying. But I think I'm just more so excited to see her be more included in the show because she's really been on the back burner this season. But more dragons is always good.
There in the book, the Fire and Blood book, there are 3 known wild dragons that fly around Dragonstone. Grey Ghost, the Cannibal, and Sheep Stealer, and this is supposed to be Sheep Stealer, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So there's
So
2
not
other
necessarily.
dragons that are wild and flying around.
Your person's lying to you.
Yeah, there you go.
Go tell him.
Beat them up on one day.
It's not Aegon
Tuesday.
conquers fucking dragon, which I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Aegon's dragon was like the biggest one. Isn't that like the skull that's in King's Landing? I thought
Might be.
That makes more sense because when I saw it, I'm like, really, Aegon? Like that's the best you got for Aegon the Conqueror. That's what he's got, really.
Yeah, that is Balerion the Dread. That's Aegon's
Oh, okay.
dragon. Yeah, it's the skull in King's
And like they were making a big point of emphasis that like there was a massive dragon like in the wild that they're insinuating was this dragon, and it didn't seem. I mean, it's a dragon, but it didn't seem as large as some other ones we've seen. It's tough to
agree.
compare when you've seen Vagar, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Yeah.
much.
I don't think I have anything else. Nothing pressing.
Do I have anything else? I don't think so.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got notes.
oh yeah.
All right. I will give this whole season an 8 out of 10. I think some big highs, great character moments, great acting, great writing overall. I think there's some pacing issues here and there, some moments that, as we talked about, whether it's this episode or other episodes in the past, that didn't quite work for me. And yeah, like I said, I think it was a good finale, but not. Oh, this again. I'll walk that back. Good episode. Don't know if it's a good finale in the sense of just leaving you like just dying for more, but because of their track record right now, of course they'll be there for season 3, and I'm very excited for it. But yeah, I think season 1, I think I gave like a 9 or a 9.5. I think my problem with season 1, as I said before, was like we skipped over a lot, and there was many times where I just felt, hey, we could have got 2 to 3 seasons of just this time frame, and they went very fast, and I think sometimes that hurt the show. Where this, I don't think this had that as much, but I don't think this one was as strong or has as strong moments as that one, because I think there was a couple episodes that usually I think there's always a good episode in, or sorry, a good moment in an episode, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like season 1 stands out more of almost every week. I was like on the edge of my seat. Where there's some seats, some week I was like comfortably seated in my seat, you know, sitting back. I didn't have a problem with it, but I can see why some people had a problem with like Damon's storyline, because it is like the hopefully resolution of him being on her side. But I saw that as the most complaint. Like, just get him out of this fucking castle already, man. So yeah, an 8 out of 10 for me for this season.
I agree. I think I'm gonna give this season 8 out of 10 as well. Little bit of a letdown compared to what season 1 had, especially just like coming off of Game of Thrones and the sourness of how that show ended for me, and then coming to this show, it's like, okay, I like the trailers, but like really, like can they recapture the Game of Thrones isms and all the highs that show has? And I really felt like that first season just like totally surpassed my expectations and had me really, really hyped. So of course I was expecting more of the same here, and I think there were some moments that had reached like that level, but for the season as a whole, kind of disappointed in the long run. I think just taking a lot of time to get characters to do certain things that we know they're gonna do, but it's just, I don't know, we gotta really stretch it out to get there. And I mean, we're even stretching it out to another season now to to actually get some interactions between the Greens and the Blacks and the Harrenhal folks. So yeah, but overall the show's still really great. So I'm really, really looking forward to the next season. And yeah, just great performances too across the board. Almost, I feel like I highlighted it throughout this episode, but wanted to just double down. It's just really, really, really solid performances. And I feel like Emma Darcy really had more moments to shine in this season compared to the first season. I guess she did share half of the the screen time with Millie Alcock in that
yeah,
season.
but I still feel like she had more moments last year.
Yeah,
somehow, you know.
that is a good point. I didn't rewatch the first season
Or
coming
they,
into it, so
sure.
maybe I'm misremembering some of those things. But I don't know. Good, it's good still all across the board.
Taylor?
Yeah, I think the first season had some more hyped up stuff that just made me feel like we're back in Game of Thrones. This has just felt like it's been 8 episodes of building up to something that we still haven't gotten yet. Well, we've gotten impulsive moves on one character's account, Aemon, just trying to incite and do carnage and everything like that. We got one big battle, but a lot of other battles have just kind of been missed. But I think that the season has just been a testament to Rhaenyra's character as a queen that does not want to wage war and is trying to do the right thing. And I can appreciate that level of development for her character. But there's just been a lot of things that have just been a little sluggish throughout the season. But there's still been things that have gotten me hyped and excited. So that's definitely going to be there no matter what. But I'm going to probably go... I wanted to go in 8, but I think I'm just going to go like... I'm going to pull a third here. 7 and 3/4.
7 and
7.75 on this because... There's just not a lot that's necessarily pulling me. We got a lot of lulls at Harrenhal. We got a lot of just, like you said, Kirk, a lot of lulls with the Halls, the bastards.
He said it exactly like that.
Yeah. So that's just kind of like it's a takeaway for me. So yeah.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I think we'll be back for Night of the Seven Kingdoms, right? We're gonna give that a shot.
I'll be there.
I think
I'll be
we'll be there. See what this knight's up to in the Seven Kingdoms. Apparently, I think it happens. I've been told 100 years after House of Dragons and 100 years before House of Dragons. So I'm not sure if this show's gonna just like just kind of spoil everything. But at the end of the day, we kind of know how some things go. But yeah, we'll be there for that. And of course, when House of Dragon returns, we'll be there for that. Thank you to everyone that did check out, whether it's 1 episode, 2 episodes, or the entire run. We really appreciate that. We will be back in Westeros, hopefully in the near future, and we promise you it'll not be boring.